Good morning. It is Tuesday for you. It's Wednesday for me. It is the day after I released that video. I got such a good sleep because truthfully the night before I didn't sleep a wink. I just was feeling nervous, which I think is human, and I wanted to make a video on how I was able to do that and how you can do scary things in your life, because a lot of people ask me that question. I actually let myself sleep in so late. It's very out of character for me, but as we all know, I've learned a lot since I had burnout, and I got to listen to my body, so I listened. That's good for me, right? And after I shared that video, I mean, part of the reason that I was so nervous is because you just don't know how it's going to affect the people around you. And I didn't know how it was going to affect my parents, my family, my friends, my team. And I did send it to a few of them before I shared it, because not for validation or approval, but just to be like, I'm going to share my soul on the internet, and you probably should know. And yesterday someone sent me this quote, and I was like, that's just going to live on my wall, because it's such a good reminder of why I did what I did. And I'd never heard it before. It says, you either walk inside your story and own it, or you stand outside your story and hustle for your worthiness. And that basically describes my life for a long time. And obviously it's a Brene Brown quote, who, I mean, we all love Brene. But yeah, I mean, it was scary. It was a scary thing to do. I knew why I wanted to do it and why I needed to do it, but I also truthfully never thought I would. And it's been a really cathartic, therapeutic process to get to this place, and it just made sense to do it when I did it. And the thing that's been incredible for me is to read the response and to see how much it resonated and how much you related. And I think, well, I know that's only fueled me further to hear moms saying, I'm showing my daughter this. That truly was the thing that hit home the hardest, because I know for me, my mission is to empower you to know how to use your voice, but more than anything, it's for little girls to know that they have a voice and they can and should speak up. So that really hit home, and there were so many comments and so much feedback, and I didn't know if one person was gonna watch this, 0 people are gonna watch it, millions of people are gonna watch it. I had no idea. I just knew for me that I had to own my story. I had to, and I had. But I also have told you so much that there's so many lessons in your story. And the moment you share it, you'll realize just how much it can impact somebody else. And that's the beauty out of some of the scary and hard things that you've been through. So I wanted to share this ritual that I do in order to do scary things. And I'm going to do that in a second. But before I get there, and I started doing it in the worst time of my life. I started doing it after that breakup. So I'm going to share that in a second. It's really powerful, really simple. Before I do, I did want to share a few comments because they hit home for me in a big way. I wish I could share all of them, but I just wanted to share a few. Shruti Panjdi said, this is like a creepily similar recap of my dating life and 20s. I'm so thankful that I found you on YouTube a few months ago, not only because you're amazing at what you do for a living, but you also are living your truth. And that's more than most girls will ever be able to or allowed to do. It's oddly comforting that no matter where we grew up and what our life path looked like, we all share so many things in this human experience. Ashley Anderson said, this video really touched my soul. I'm going through a massive transition in my life right now. After walking away from toxicity, I'm a perfectionist. I try really hard to be good or perfect. I throw myself into work whenever I feel isolated because I don't want to be alone with my thoughts. Oh, that hits home. I'm working really hard with learning how to be honest with myself, also how to deal with healing and my true feelings. I think I'm also a perfectionist because I have a disability and I use a wheelchair. I spend so much time trying to show other people how capable I am, or fill the narrative that all disabled people must be inspirational. It's really toxic and usually leads to depression. I'm in therapy now, so I guess that's a step in the right direction. It totally, totally is. So Limitless said, I think this video resonates with so many women, especially. I'm glad you shared. Sometimes it's hard not to beat yourself up over past mistakes, but like you said, it's done and it's a part of who we are now. It took me until my 40s to really start to be myself, so I'm glad you learned sooner. Still learning. Lucas said, sending all the love to you, Sunny. Thank you for the honesty. I'm a father to a smart and beautiful 6-month-old baby daughter, so I totally feel you. We as dads have an important role. From day one, I promised myself I'll show her my baby girl with love. I'll kiss her and hug her every day and tell her how much I value value her. I'm also trying to improve myself and be a good male role model to my daughter, as I know it will be important in her life later. Slava Bila said, I'm 19 now and literally in a phase when I want my work and success to define who I am. Get it? I totally get that. Then COVID happens and everything I planned for myself got canceled. I was so angry in March because I can't do anything with my life. Meanwhile, I feel worthy only when I'm productive. Ooh, you're speaking to my soul. Knowing your story, I actually have to be grateful because I now I can work on myself instead of taking care of myself later when everything gets worse. Yes, please learn from my mistakes. Please learn from my burnout and ending up in the hospital and everything that I shared in that story. So knowing how much resonated and also seeing that there's a lot of you who are going through a hard time, and also a lot of you who are trying to muster up the courage to get out of something that's maybe really hard, I wanted to share the thing with you that helped me get to where I am today. And I'm still learning, and I still do this every single day. I've done this exercise almost every single day for 6 years. And I remember going through that breakup and having such a hard time and barely being able to get out of bed. I was so sad and defeated and had completely lost myself and my worth. And a friend said, you should really start writing a gratitude journal. I remember laughing and being like, and really just wanting to be like, F you. I have nothing to be grateful for. Which for me at this point in my life is such a crazy thing to even think I would say, because it's so out of character with who I am now. But at that point, I just couldn't see it. And so she said, I promise you, just try and write one thing today that you're grateful for before you go to sleep. So I did. And I was like, okay, well, that wasn't so bad. And then I started doing it every day because I found that it made me feel good. And the more that I said I was grateful for things, the more great things I found to be grateful for. And the more my world opened up. And the more positive I felt. And the more optimistic I felt. And the more I could pull myself out of that hole. But it also kind of was part of the path to me getting to burnout, which I know sounds weird. So it couldn't just be the gratitude. The reason I say that is because I was constantly saying things I was grateful for, but I didn't stop. I never stopped to be like, look how far I've come. I'm so proud of myself. And I was so still trying to seek validation from other people, and I was still trying to get people in my life to be like, you're doing great, you're good, you're perfect, you're doing all the right things. I still needed that from other people. And so after I went through burnout, I added something to it. And every day since then, which now it's been years, I write not only what I'm grateful for, but I write what I'm proud of myself for. Because when you see the things that you can be proud of yourself for, it creates more momentum and it builds your confidence and it builds your worthiness, and the less you have to rely on external validation. Because what I've learned too is that, shame lives in silence and the boogeyman really lives in the dark. When you bring them to light and when you talk about them and when you give yourself credit for getting through some of the shameful or scary things in your life, it shows you that you're a warrior and that you've been through things and you're going to continue to get through things, and nothing is going to kill you. Nothing is going to make you crumble because you are strong and you have that internal strength. And the other thing for me too is that I relied so much on pride from other people that I didn't know how to give myself the credit, and that's a toxic cycle because I ran myself into the ground, literally. And so I did this exercise actually when I went and saw a therapist. They were like, have you ever thought about the little girl version of you and the older version of you? I was like, no, never. And that little girl part of me is a big part of me. And that little girl who craved the attention is a part of me. And so when I think about what I'm proud of myself for, I always, whenever I do a scary thing, I'm like, will that little girl be proud? And will the 80-year-old version of me, 90-year-old version of me with big gray hair, will she be proud? If those two are proud, I don't need anybody else's approval. So I'll show you really quickly, and I'm going to do it with you. This is what I do every single morning. It is part of my morning routine, and it is so therapeutic. So what am I grateful for today? I am grateful for a good night's sleep, my community, Navid, my amazing fiance, Muggsy, Blue Skies. And usually this list is like long. And I could go on for a long time, but my commitment is at least 5 things a day now. And then what am I proud of myself for? For sharing my truth. For listening to my intuition. Also, for listening to my body, because I didn't do that for a long time and I really needed that sleep last night. For creating a home that is supportive and warm. And I could really go on and on. I'm like, for letting my guard down, for, for doing hard things and scary things. But just starting this little list. And Ashley was one of those comments, and she said, I guess this is a good first step, going to therapy. Damn straight it's a good first step, and you should be really proud of yourself for that. We never stop to give ourselves credit. And if you never stop to give yourself credit, you're constantly running on a treadmill. And what happens if you never give yourself a break from sprinting on a treadmill? You're gonna collapse like I did. So I hope that's helpful for you. It really is one of the biggest things that I've been able to do to process my journey and process my story and get to a place where I'm proud of it, and I'm proud of who I am, and I'm proud of the dark, and I'm proud of the light. And it's a really empowering feeling, and it's a really liberating feeling, and I hope that that's what you took from this. And I want you right now in the comments, tell me one thing. If you can do more than that, great, but tell me one thing you are grateful for today and one thing you are proud of yourself for today. And I'm so excited for you to start this, because it could change your life. It really did change mine, and it's why I'm sitting here being able to talk to you like this today. So lots of love, and I'll see you in the next one.